The humid air of Sepang hangs heavy, thick enough to choke the life out of a standard engine. But inside the Prima Pramac Yamaha garage, the atmosphere is even more suffocating. A silent figure clad in blue and black adjusts his visor. He isn't a MotoGP veteran, nor is he a product of the traditional Spanish or Italian academies. He is an outsider, a disruptor. And he has just sent a shockwave through the paddock that has left the world's elite riders looking over their shoulders. For years, the narrative was simple. Toprak Razgatlioglu was the king of the other world, the world superbike champion who could do things on a production bike that defied physics. But as he stands over his new Yamaha M1, a machine equipped with a prototype V4 engine that represents the future of Japanese engineering, Toprak has made one thing clear. He isn't here to play nice. He isn't here to learn from his teammate, the former world champion Fabio Quartararo. In fact, he's barely acknowledged him. In a staggering statement that has silenced the critics and ignited a firestorm of debate, Toprak revealed his true target. It's not the man in his own garage. It's the man wearing the number 93 on the red factory Ducati. The message was cold, calculated, and terrifyingly confident. I am not thinking about beating Fabio. I am thinking about fighting Marc Marquez. But this isn't just about a rookie's bravado. Behind that statement lies a strategic masterclass and a technical countdown that points directly to a single year, 2027. No one inside the paddock expected what would unfold next, and it would change everything for him, his team, and the entire hierarchy of MotoGP. To the casual observer, Toprak's entry into MotoGP seems like a standard career move. But look closer, and you'll see a predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. While the 2026 season will be his debut, Toprak is already looking past it. Why? Because the 2027 season represents the single greatest technical reset in the history of the sport. MotoGP is moving from the screaming 1000cc monsters to more refined 850cc engines. Aerodynamics will be slashed, and the ride height devices, the gadgets that have made the Ducati so dominant, will be banned. But the real secret weapon in Toprak's arsenal isn't the engine, it's the tires. In 2027, Michelin will depart and Pirelli will become the sole tire supplier for the premier class. This is the ground where Toprak was raised. He has spent his entire professional life mastering the unique characteristics of Pirelli rubber, developing a braking style that allows him to stand a bike on its nose while traveling at speeds that should be impossible. Some insiders believe that while the current grid will be struggling to adapt to the new feel, Toprak will be starting on home turf. He is playing a long game. He is willing to endure a learning year in 2026, navigating the complexities of the Yamaha V4 prototype, because he knows that 2027 is the year the playing field levels out. But as he focuses on the horizon, the pressure inside the Yamaha garage is reaching a boiling point. Inside the Yamaha garage, whispers began spreading almost immediately after Toprak's first laps. Fabio Quartararo has been the undisputed hero of Yamaha, the man who dragged a struggling M1 to results it didn't deserve. He is the benchmark, but Toprak's arrival has shifted the gravity of the team. When asked about his teammate, Toprak's response was ice cold. I'm not thinking about beating Fabio, I'm thinking about having fun. If I have fun, results will come. To some, it sounded like a snub. To others, it was a declaration that Toprak doesn't view Quartararo as his ultimate ceiling. He is looking for a bigger ghost to hunt. Reports from the Sepang test suggest a certain level of tension. While Fabio is focused on immediate development, Toprak is treating the test like a playground. Yamaha has provided him with an unprecedented 6 bikes to test, allowing him to explore the limits without the fear of a single crash ending his day. He is playing with the bike, performing his signature stoppies and wheelies, but only after he clocks competitive times. Success comes first, then the show, Toprak stated with a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. He knows that if he finishes 15th, his style is just a gimmick, but if he's on the podium, then he becomes a phenomenon. Yet, as Toprak builds his fortress at Yamaha, the most successful team in the paddock is beginning to show cracks in its foundation. While Toprak prepares for his assault, a far bigger storm has been brewing at Ducati. For years, the pairing of Davide Tardozzi, the emotional heart of the team, and Gigi Dall'Igna, the technical mastermind, was considered unbreakable. Together, they ended Ducati's long title drought and created a machine that redefined the sport. However, a staggering report from the Italian media suggested a rift that could end an era. The tension allegedly stems from the 2025 season, a year where the factory team struggled to meet the technical needs of Pecco Bagnaia. Tardozzi, never one to hide his feelings, publicly admitted that the team was late in understanding Bagnaia's requirements. In the high-pressure world of the Ducati course, that public admission was seen by some as a direct criticism of Dall'Igna's management. Rumors of a divorce began to swirl, with names like Michel Pirro and Gino Borse already being floated as potential replacements for the legendary team manager. At the Campioni in Festa celebrations, Ducati attempted to play it off. They posted photos of the two men laughing, mocking the reports of a split. Tardozzi himself called the rumors absurd and baseless. But in the paddock, smoke usually means fire. The strain of managing two alpha riders like Bagnaia and Marc Marquez is beginning to show. And this internal turmoil is exactly what a predator like Toprak is waiting for. The question everyone is asking is, why Marquez? Why would a rookie, regardless of his talent, target the 8-time world champion before even finishing his first MotoGP race? The answer lies in the psychological makeup of Toprak Razgatlioglu. Toprak doesn't want to just win, he wants to defeat the standard-bearer. He views Marquez not as a rival but as a legend whose talent he respects and whose throne he intends to take. For me, Marc is a MotoGP legend, Toprak admitted. But my sights are already set further ahead. My big goal is 2027 to really fight with Marquez. There is a technical symmetry between the two. Both riders are famous for their aggressive use of the front tire. Both are masters of the save. While most riders fear the limit, Toprak and Marquez live there. By targeting Marquez, Toprak is signaling that he believes he is the only rider on the grid with the raw, natural talent to match the Spaniard in a head-to-head dogfight. It's a bold gamble. If he fails, he becomes another SBK flop. If he succeeds, he becomes the man who took down the greatest rider of a generation. But as the countdown to their first encounter begins, the reality of the task at hand is starting to sink in. The Sepang test was supposed to be a quiet introduction. Instead, it became a statement of intent. Yamaha's decision to give Toprak 6 different bikes is a move rarely seen for a newcomer. It shows a level of investment and perhaps desperation from the Japanese manufacturer. They aren't just giving him a seat, they are giving him an entire laboratory. Toprak's approach to the test was uncharacteristically cautious on the first day, but by the second the Stoppie King had returned. He began adjusting his riding position, feeling the feedback from the Michelin tires and pushing the V4 prototype closer to the edge. He isn't interested in a safe setup. He wants a bike that he can wrestle, a bike that responds to his violent braking style. In Malaysia, I'll have 6 days of testing. That will be very important, Toprak said. He knows that every lap is a piece of data for the 2027 revolution. He is building his familiarity with the Yamaha engineers, earning their trust, and slowly molding the team around his specific needs. But even as he clocks impressive times, the shadow of Marc Marquez looms large. Marquez, now fully integrated into the Ducati system, is faster than ever. The gap between a World Superbike and a MotoGP prototype is a chasm that many have failed to cross. What happened after the final session in Sepang, however, left even his closest team members stunned. As the sun set over the Sepang International Circuit, the narrative of the 2026 season had already been rewritten. The paddock is no longer just talking about the battle between Bagnaia and Marquez. They are talking about the Turkish rider who refuses to acknowledge the hierarchy. Toprak Razgatlioglu has successfully turned his debut into a psychological war. By ignoring Fabio Quartararo and calling out Marc Marquez, he has removed the rookie label from his back and replaced it with a target. He has forced the giants of the sport to acknowledge his presence before the lights have even gone out for the first race. Meanwhile, at Ducati, the humorous social media posts haven't fully silenced the whispers. The dynamic between Tardozzi and Dall'Igna remains a point of fascination. If the 2026 season starts with technical issues, those baseless rumors will return with a vengeance. The stage is set. A technical revolution is coming in 2027, a legendary team is facing internal strain, and a fearless predator has just arrived to claim his prize. Toprak isn't just a new name on the entry list, he is the beginning of a new era. And as he himself said, the show only starts when you're on the podium. The countdown to the most anticipated duel in decades has officially begun. But what the paddock discovered next about Yamaha's secret engine development would shock everyone, proving that this was only the beginning of a far bigger storm.